Stoicism is like a really old way of thinking that teaches us how to be free from the things that make us feel trapped by our surroundings. When we talk about a system, we're talking about how we act and feel based on what's happening around us. Stoicism helps us break free from being controlled by these outside influences. It's not about wrecking everything around us. It's about understanding that we can't control everything and being okay with that. There's this cool guy named Epictetus who said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you think about it that really bothers you." Basically, he meant that it's not the things themselves that make us upset, but how we see them. Stoicism gives us some really smart advice to help us get out of this trap. Let's check out 10 important things we can learn from Stoicism to help us feel more peaceful and free. Lesson 1. Maintaining cheerfulness, regardless of circumstances. Stoicism is all about staying happy no matter what happens. Instead of getting upset when things don't go our way, Stoicism tells us to accept them with a smile. It's like going with the flow instead of trying to swim against the current. When we stop worrying about making everything perfect, we become stronger and less likely to be tricked or taken advantage of by others. Lesson 2. Diminishing concern for reputation. Stoicism teaches us that while it's nice to have a good reputation, it's not the most important thing. When we care too much about what other people think of us, it can make us feel trapped and controlled by their opinions. Instead, Stoicism tells us to focus on being happy and free on the inside, rather than always trying to impress others on the outside. Lesson 3. Developing the skill of endurance. Stoicism teaches us to be strong even when things are tough. Instead of giving up or running away from problems, we should learn to stay strong and face them. This means not letting difficult situations make us do things we know are wrong. By staying true to ourselves, even when times are hard, we become stronger and more able to handle whatever life throws our way. Lesson 4. Letting go of people. Sometimes we get really attached to certain people in our lives. But Stoicism tells us that holding on too tightly can bring us a lot of pain. Instead, we should see our relationships in a bigger way. We need to understand that everything changes, including the people we care about. So it's important not to get too upset when things change or when people leave our lives. By learning to let go and accept that change is part of life, we can find more peace and happiness within ourselves. Lesson 5. Letting go of material possessions. Sometimes society tells us that having lots of stuff, like fancy toys or expensive clothes, will make us happy. But Stoicism says that's not true. It teaches us that real happiness doesn't come from having lots of things. Instead, it comes from inside us. We don't need to rely on stuff to feel good about ourselves. By understanding that our happiness doesn't depend on what we own, we can feel more free and content with what we have. Lesson 6. Empowering our responses. Stoicism tells us that we have power over how we react to things that happen to us, especially when someone says or does something that upsets us. Instead of getting upset back, Stoicism teaches us to stay calm and not let others control how we feel. When we choose to respond calmly, we take control of our own feelings and find peace inside ourselves. Lesson 7. Embracing mortality. Sometimes we're scared of dying, and that fear can affect how we live our lives. But Stoicism teaches us to face this fear bravely. It says that death is a normal part of life, like how we grow older or how the seasons change. When we accept that we will all die one day, we can live our lives with more bravery and goodness, without worrying so much about what might happen in the future. These 7 Stoic lessons are like a guidebook for how to live peacefully and freely. By following these teachings, we can break free from the things that hold us back and find peace inside ourselves. Lesson 8. Cultivating virtue as the highest good. Stoicism says that being a good person is the most important thing in life. Being good means having qualities like being wise, brave, fair, and in control of yourself. These qualities are like the building blocks of a happy and meaningful life. Instead of chasing after things like money or fame, Stoicism teaches us to focus on becoming better people. When we do this, we become more in tune with the way things should be, and we find peace and balance inside ourselves. Lesson 9. Practicing mindfulness and self-awareness. Stoicism teaches us to pay close attention to our thoughts and feelings. This means being aware of what's happening in our minds and bodies. By doing this, we can understand ourselves better and make wiser choices. When we're mindful, we don't just react quickly to things that happen to us. Instead, we take a moment to think before we act. This helps us stay calm and strong, even when faced with tough situations. Being mindful helps us find peace inside ourselves and deal with life's ups and downs more easily. Lesson 10. Accepting the dichotomy of control. Stoicism teaches us about two kinds of things in life: things we can control and things we can't. Things like our thoughts, feelings, and how we act are in our control. But things like the weather, other people's actions, and unexpected events are not. When we understand this difference, we can focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. This helps us feel less stressed and worried about things that are beyond our power. Instead, we can use our energy to make positive changes in our own lives. By accepting this idea, we can find more peace and happiness in our hearts. Lesson 11. Practicing gratitude and contentment. Stoicism teaches us to be thankful for what we have and to be happy with it. Instead of always wanting more, we learn to appreciate the things we already have. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we feel happier and more satisfied. We find joy in the little things around us, like spending time with loved ones or enjoying nature. By being content with what we have, we can live a happier and more fulfilling life. Lesson 12. Embracing adversity as an opportunity for growth. In Stoicism, we learn that tough times can actually make us stronger. Instead of seeing challenges as bad things that make us suffer, we see them as chances to become better people. When we face hard times, we learn important lessons and become more resilient. It's like lifting weights at the gym. The more we lift, the stronger we get. Adversity helps us grow and become wiser, teaching us to be tough when life gets tough. Lesson 13. Practicing equanimity in the face of change. Stoicism teaches us to be cool and calm when things around us are changing. Life is always changing, like how the weather changes or how our feelings change. Stoicism says it's okay to accept these changes calmly. Even when things are uncertain or not going our way, we can stay balanced and peaceful. It's like surfing on waves. Sometimes the water is rough, but we can learn to ride the waves and stay steady. Practicing this calmness helps us feel more grounded and peaceful inside, no matter what's happening outside. Lesson 14. Fostering a sense of duty and service to others. Stoicism teaches us that it's important to help others and do our part in making the world a better place. When we have duties or responsibilities to our family, friends, or community, Stoicism says we should take them seriously. By doing things to help others, like being kind, helpful, and honest, we not only make others happy but also find meaning and satisfaction in what we do. It's like being part of a big team where everyone helps each other out. When we serve others with care and goodness, we become better people and make the world a nicer place for everyone. Lesson 15. Facing fear and uncertainty. With courage, Stoicism teaches us to be brave even when we feel scared or unsure. When we face tough times or things we don't understand, Stoicism says we should stand tall and keep going. It's like being a hero in your own story, facing challenges with strength and bravery. Courage doesn't mean we're not afraid. It means we find the strength to keep moving forward despite our fears. By being brave, we grow stronger inside and learn to handle whatever life throws our way. These extra lessons from Stoicism give us useful advice on how to live wisely, be good people, and bounce back from tough times. When we use these ideas in our everyday lives, we can feel more peaceful, happy, and confident in everything we do. Conclusion. So, to sum it all up, Stoicism is like a treasure chest full of wisdom that can help us live better lives. It teaches us how to be strong when things get tough, how to find happiness in simple things, and how to rely on ourselves to find peace and freedom. By using Stoic ideas in our everyday lives, we can become stronger, happier, and more confident people. So, let's embrace Stoicism and its teachings to find our own path to peace and liberation